pronounced name of the Action Mystery Man. Now, let's see where we are. Out in the sunshine with the animals at Jungleland and a great performer. Terrific song. This is Keith, 98.6.
The history of Jungleland is a fascinating tale of how a small lion farm evolved into a major entertainment destination that at its peak had 40 lions among scores of other exotic animals. Jungleland symbolized the exotic animal sector during the golden age of Hollywood. It also exemplified humanity's desire to get close to these incredible creatures. Ultimately, Jungleland succumbed to financial struggles and one tragic event in particular. Jungleland began as Goebel's Lion Farm in 1926, founded by Louis Goebel. Goebel, son of a butcher, worked at Universal Studios in the 1920s. His butcher skills came in handy feeding and caring for the studio's animals. When studio executives decided to eliminate their stock of exotic animals, Goebel bought some of them, including dogs, rabbits, chickens, a fox, and other small animals. But most notably, Goebel purchased 6 African lions: Andy, Min, Bill, Mama, Popper, and Little Caesar. With no suitable land in Los Angeles County, Goebel moved to Conejo Valley and opened his farm in Thousand Oaks to the public in the late 1920s. The farm became an attraction not just for its lions, but for a wide array of exotic animals, gradually expanding to 170 acres. Even in the early days, Jungleland was the center of town and one of the larger employers around. Even after World War II, the town was home to only 500 or so people. Contrast that to the current population of Thousand Oaks at 124,000. Goebel's Lion Farm began as a private venture but soon grew in size and popularity. More and more friends of friends began to come out from the city to visit the animals. Goebel decided to create a trained animal show and even opened a small restaurant. His wife, Kathleen, fed and cared for the baby animals born on site. Initially, Kathleen ran the restaurant and sold show tickets while Louis presented the show. The tourist business was a big hit. Kathleen always felt that guests delighted in watching the baby animals play as much as they enjoyed the trained animal show. By the late 1920s, the farm had gained enough attention that Goebel decided to open it to the public. As word spread about the collection of exotic animals and the lion shows that were held at the farm, more visitors started coming to town. While Goebel started with lions, the collection soon expanded to include other exotic animals: tigers, elephants, hippos, orangutans, camels, chimpanzees, and more were added to the farm. Goebel's expertise as a wild animal importer and exporter helped him provide zoos and circuses around the world with animals. At one point, Goebel was even responsible for supplying the first zoo in Hawaii with animals. Goebel also leased his animals to film productions, quickly establishing his farm as the go-to place for Hollywood producers looking for wild animals. This connection with Hollywood would define Jungleland's role in the industry for decades. Famous personalities like Mabel Stark, the world's first female lion tamer, performed there. She was popularly known for performing dangerous stunts with the lions in their steel cages, known for her toughness and scarred arms from years of working with lions. When Mabel Stark brought her tigers to Goebel's Lion Farm in 1935, she was recuperating from a mauling accident in the circus ring. Mabel did performances at the Lion Farm after healing, and after World War II resumed touring with her beloved cats. In the 1950s, she was talked out of retiring by Louis Goebel and became one of the park's main attractions. The park supplied animals for films like Tarzan, I'm No Angel, and the 1968 movie Dr. Dolittle, starring Rex Harrison. Other animals like Mr. Ed, the talking horse from the famous TV show, also came from Jungleland. Some of the most iconic animals included Jackie, the lion also known as Leo, one of the MGM lions, and Tamer, a chimpanzee from Jungle Jim, further cementing its place in Hollywood lore. By the 1930s, the lion farm was more than just a private animal compound. It was a major public attraction. Visitors from all over California would come to watch the animals and enjoy various amusement features like elephant and tortoise rides for children, safari-style bus tours, and thoughtful touches like water fountains shaped like lions and even hippos, all adding to the playful and family-friendly atmosphere of Goebel's Lion Farm. Eventually, in 1946, Louis Goebel sold the Lion Farm to Trader Horn and Billy Richards, who renamed it the World Jungle Compound. The business was sold again in 1956 to two executives from 20th Century Fox Studios, James Ruman and Sid Rogel. They rebranded the farm as Jungleland in an effort to create a Disneyland-like attraction featuring live animals. This was the start of a new chapter in the park's history as a major theme park and tourist destination. One of the unique features was the safari-style tram tours through the park. Guests could take a ride and listen to stories about the various animals. In later years, a sky tram was introduced, allowing guests to ride above the animal enclosures for a bird's-eye view of the park. Melvin Kuntz was the chief trainer from 1946 to 1964. In 1954, he bore the dubious distinction of being the only trainer at the park who had never been bitten by a chimpanzee. He was also trainer of Jackie, one of the main MGM lions, as well as having appeared in over 100 films. He was also called Leo the Lucky for surviving several accidents, including 2 train wrecks, a sinking ship, a 1933 earthquake, and an explosion in the studio. The most notable accident was a plane crash in September 1927. The overloaded plane came down near Payson, Arizona. The pilot, Martin Jensen, along with Jackie, both survived the crash, and for 4 days they survived on sandwiches as well as milk and water that were on board the plane. Afterwards, Jackie was well taken care of till the end of his days. Larry Morris, a young boy who lived across the street from Jungleland, experienced a truly unique childhood shaped by the sounds and sights of the exotic animals that inhabited the famous park. It was a strange town in the 1950s and 1960s, Miller said, describing it as a hub for the wild animal industry where circuses would winter. He also remembers when Ventura Boulevard was 2 lanes, and every day you could see lions and tigers on chains tied to oak trees, and there were elephants along the main street. The most memorable moment for Morris came on a night when the house began to sway, and his family felt what they initially believed was an earthquake. Upon investigation, Morris discovered that Emma the elephant, one of Jungleland's prized attractions, had escaped her enclosure. Emma was leaning against the side of the house, using it to reach leaves from a nearby oak tree. He also recalls when 6 mountain lions escaped from the compound near his house, and children were kept home from school while dogs tracked down the escapees. In 1961, Jungleland faced financial difficulties, and Louis Goebel, the original founder, regained control of the park after it went into foreclosure. He retained the name Jungleland and worked to keep the park operating. Goebel's hands-on experience and dedication allowed the park to survive for a few more years. He was assisted by Gerda and Heinz Ruhr, who helped manage the park. Unfortunately, the writing was on the wall. Around the mid-1960s, Jungleland began to face fierce competition from larger, more modern amusement parks. Disneyland, which had opened in 1955, was drawing huge crowds with its innovative rides, themed lands, and family entertainment. Additionally, Knott's Berry Farm offered a unique combination of amusement rides and live entertainment. Even Universal Studios began developing into a popular destination with its behind-the-scenes movie studio tours. Jungleland, by comparison, lacked the excitement and modern attractions these newer parks provided. Its live animal shows and old-fashioned safari experiences couldn't compete with the cutting-edge rides and immersive entertainment offered by its competitors. Jungleland's inability to innovate beyond its core attractions made it difficult to attract new visitors, and attendance began to decline. Despite its Hollywood connections, Jungleland faced increasing competition from newer and larger theme parks. However, the final nail in the Jungleland coffin may have come from a tragic incident involving the son of a famous Hollywood actress. In November 1966, famous actress and model Jayne Mansfield and her family visited Jungleland. However, her 6-year-old son, Zoltan, was severely injured when a lion at Jungleland attacked him. The attack was witnessed by freelance photographer Dave Payne, who described the male lion as being edgy before the attack. The lion, which was chained yet had a significant range of movement, suddenly jumped on Zoltan, knocking him down and biting him in the back of the neck. 2 men managed to free the boy from the lion's grasp and rushed him to Conejo Valley Community Hospital. Zoltan suffered a skull fracture, a deep slash on the left side of his face, and another deep cut at the base of his skull. 5 doctors, including 2 neurosurgeons, worked for 3 hours on Zoltan's injuries, which included a bruised brain. Although the situation was critical, the doctors reported that Zoltan's brain was not damaged. Jayne, deeply distressed but relieved, stayed by her son's side at the hospital. Retired veterinarian Robert Miller said, "I declawed that lion just prior to the mauling, and if I hadn't, he would have been killed." This incident not only brought attention to the dangers of human-animal interactions in such settings, but also contributed to the legal and financial troubles faced by Jungleland. Mansfield filed a lawsuit against Jungleland, seeking $1.6 million in damages, equivalent to about $12.4 million today. By 1968, it became clear that Jungleland couldn't keep up with the growing amusement park industry. Visitor numbers dropped, and the park struggled financially. Facing mounting debts and the inability to maintain the park or update its attractions, Jungleland eventually closed in October 1969 and filed for bankruptcy. Jayne's son Zoltan received a $10,000 settlement out of court from Jungleland during its bankruptcy proceedings. While the Mansfield incident may have contributed to the park's troubles, its financial decline was already underway due to external competition. After the park closed, its 1,800 animals were sold at auction, marking the end of an era. The auction was a major event with animals sold to private collectors, zoos, and other parks. Notable sales included a hippo for $450, a llama for $195, and a macaw for $1,800. More exotic animals, like a pair of orangutans, fetched $20,000, while a tiger went for $750 and a lion for $600. Keep in mind these prices adjusted for inflation would be nearly 9 times higher in today's money. Even after Jungleland's closure, the property didn't stay abandoned. In the 1970s, the park's pools and empty animal enclosures became popular with local skateboarders, and informal concerts labeled Jungleland Jamborees were held on the property. The site was nicknamed the Jungleland Wastelands, and the community used it as a makeshift skate park and music venue. Louis Goebel continued to own the remaining 20 acres of the property until 1979, when he sold it to developers. The site eventually became the location for the Civic Arts Plaza, which opened in 1994. This transformed the old Jungleland site into a modern cultural center. Today, it stands as a major community hub, offering theater performances, concerts, and other cultural events. Jungleland physically disappeared with the construction of the Arts Plaza. However, its legacy remains in the memories of residents and visitors who attended all those years ago. All that is left on site is a small stone wall and accompanying plaque acting as a memento to its history. A neighborhood adjacent to the plaza is named Camelot, a play on words perhaps. Additionally, a park right beside this neighborhood is themed after Jungleland. Interestingly, a colony of wild peacocks descended from Jungleland escapees continues to live free in the surrounding areas. There is even a rumor of a black panther that roamed the hills of the Conejo Valley and mated with wild mountain lions. This rumor was so persistent even Newbury Park High School chose a black panther as its mascot. The Stagecoach Inn Museum in Thousand Oaks also preserves Jungleland's legacy with various donated and loaned artifacts from the park, including brochures, photographs, and other memorabilia. Lastly, the Goebel Senior Center is named in honor of Louis Goebel. Though Jungleland closed its doors 55 years ago, it remains as a significant chapter in the history of animal parks in the United States. The park's mix of live animal performances, child-friendly amusements, and its close connection to the golden age of Hollywood ensured that Jungleland would be remembered long after its gates closed.